Alright, what's up ladies and gentlemen, as I'm going to be quick about this, as I'm pretty much going to show you all the full-time drivers for Season 2 of the TASCA Super Series. And I'm going to be mentioning, their hometown, backstory, everything, their first car from Season 1 of the Super Series, and then the car they switched to for Season 2, and all that stuff. So without further ado, without really any delay, let's just get into the lineup. It's not going to be in particular order, I kind of just did it saving the best guys for last pretty much, and then I'll mention the new guys after that. So let's get into it. Alright, so first up I'm going to be talking about Colin Cropley, leader of the Empire as I like to dub him, as he tends to bring a lot of friends along, as for anyone who hasn't seen Season 1. And well, things are sort of wishy-washy for him in the 15 car, but it is what it is, and he is back for Season 2, but this time switching to number 16. With an all-new sponsor and everything, so basically an overhaul to say the least, as same for his teammate, which we'll get to probably not too long. So yeah, see how that turns out for him. Alright, next up we have the fan from Melbourne, Australia, Nick Simone in the 44, and well, he switched paint schemes for this season, so same number pretty much, but pretty much changed up sponsors, complete sponsor overhaul, as you can tell. And honestly, his most memorable moment in Season 1 was his beef with Colin Cropley, at least from what I remember, but see if Season 2 fares him much better. Next one to talk about is Skylar Taylor of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Not much to say about her time in Season 1. Sort of kind of rough if you're talking about most of the full-time drivers and the point standings and all that. But just like what I said about Nick Simone, hopefully her Season 2 fares much better. Alright, next driver to talk about is Big L in the 74 Dodge, as he is apparently part of that really big racing scene in Wisconsin, as quite a few of these guys in the series are from Wisconsin from what I can tell. And well, season, kind of just like the other guys I mentioned, kind of a mixed bag, but at least he made up for it by winning the season finale. So at least he has that going for him, but now can he be a contender? That'll be the real question. Out of Clinton, Tennessee, here we have Jack Henderson in the 65 Chevy, and well, he was able to win Dover. Season was kind of a mixed bag. Hopefully he does better for next season. Next up is 21 of Bryce Lamb, and just like Jack Henderson, he kind of had a really rough season. He almost injured in one of the races. I could be wrong, but it was a really rough showing. His only saving grace all season was that win in that dirt event. So, see if he picks it up. From being an Amtrak employee to a race car driver, Trey Jones here managed to win the Daytona 500 before he even signed up for the series. Well, as for this series, hasn't really gone well, but let's see if he could finally get that first win, because he's had a rough string of bad luck, but we never know. Just see what happens. Next up is the Christopher Bell superfan out of Cathy Lynn, Kansas, Joseph Wilson. Joseph Wilson managed to win a race in Season 1, though had a bit of a season collapse, so he was unable to be mathematically in championship contention by the season finale. But, it is what it is, and, maybe he'll win more races. Who knows? Alright, next up is Mitchell Hodak of Colin Cropley Motorsports. Now, Season 1 was kind of, well, I say this about a lot of guys, fairly mixed bag. And well, for Season 2, just like his boss Colin Cropley, he decided to, complete repackage of the car and everything. So see if that turns things around for him, as Mitchell Hodak was starting to show some speed near the end of the season. So just maybe this is the boost he needs. Now we get to the driver who had it the roughest amongst all the full-time drivers Season 1. Amber Carroll, I felt like was in almost every accident throughout the season. I could be wrong, it just feels like that. So, not much to say. Hopefully she could pick things up in that number 23 Wick Donald's Toyota Supra. And now we get to one of the most experienced drivers in the TASCA Super Series lineup, known as Jonathan Rado, who basically before the TASCA Super Series has raced in many different series, such as Bandoleros, probably when he was a kid, driving Trans Am and IMSA, and my personal favorite, MX-5s, and basically a road course wrangler. There was only one road course in the season, but maybe season 2 will be different, so who knows. But yeah, dude has basically almost like a Sheldon Creed for a while. He was like in the lead for many races, but then would fall back when the time was right to actually win the race, but was able to win at Martinsville with like 2 races left to spare. So yeah, even though he fell short in the championship race itself, it is what it is. He, see how he can redeem himself for season 2. However, Jonathan Rado is not going to be alone on this venture, because now for season 2, his co-owner, Connor Jacklin of Rado Jacklin Motorsports, will be running full-time. He ran part-time as they're kind of rivals in the Wisconsin racing scene, but they decided to co-own a team for a TASCA Super Series season 1. Well, I mean, they still co-own it, but now Connor Jacklin is running full-time alongside him. And Connor Jacklin was pretty close to winning that Martinsville race that Rado won. So let's see if they could, let's see if they could both start racking up wins. Who knows? Now, I said earlier how Jonathan Rado felt like Sheldon Creed of like season 1 until his win near the end. Well, Donnie Follington for sure is basically a Sheldon Creed of season, but who knows if that'll change for season 2. But essentially, Donnie Follington, his lore, there's a lot to it. Trying to keep it short here. Essentially, him and his brother have been in a team and basically racking up wins left and right, with Goodyear backing them up pretty much for most of their time. And now, well, they're here looking to make an impact. They haven't, well, they somewhat have, because they left some laps, but even it hasn't resulted in a win yet. But I feel like it's very close. Not sure yet on that. Next up is Jace Burr, the super late model racer out of Athens, Ohio. Now, season 1 of TASCA Super Series was really weird, as near the start of the season, actually in the 3rd race of the season, got injured in a really bad crash coming to the line, and well, he needed a relief driver halfway through the Bristol race. And well, he was able to win the very next time out at Montreal West. So, at least he had that going for him. Although it was on a race ended on a caution, but he still showed quite a bit of speed as season went on, especially in that finale. So we'll see how he does. Alright, next it's time to talk about the champion of season 1 of the TASCA Super Series, Timmy Svanzik, a driver who, out of Munich, Germany, who essentially was racing in the Formula system, and when that didn't work out for him, he decided to move on to America to tackle stock cars instead of IndyCar. You know what? Props to him on that. I mean, it clearly paid off, since he was able to win the 2nd race of the season, and he was so consistent throughout the season that he had a decent enough cushion, I felt like, in the finale, and well, it paid off. He won the season 1 championship. Now, the question is, can Timmy go 2 for 2? That's the real question. However, this time Timmy's not going to be alone on a pursuit, as his brother Kemi Svanzik, who ran a few starts part-time in season 1, is now going full-time for season 2, which should be interesting, because man, I don't know what they have in those engines, but they are mad powerful. Let's see how that goes. And then we have the driver who is so close yet so far in the season 1 battle for the championship, Stephen Waters, in the 77 Ford Mustang out of Sacramento, California. He has quite the history racing on dirt in particular, with quite a bit of backing from NOS Energy. Now, that's not all, as he's also competed in monster trucks for a bit, so that's pretty interesting. And well, found himself here, and honestly, his experience clearly paid off, as he was able to win 3 races in season 1. He would win at the season opener at Northridge, win race 4 at Bristol, and then win the second to last race at Phoenix. But despite those wins, he made a few more mistakes, or just a bit more bad luck than the other contenders, which is why he wound up around 5th in the standings when it was all said and done. But hopefully, not only could he win more races potentially, let's see if he could win the championship. And now it's time for me to talk about all of the new drivers who are going to be here for season 2. And I'm not talking guys who are part-time in season 1. I'm talking guys who are just brand new in the series entirely. for season 2 of this series. And first up, we're going to talk about Riku Mizu, teammate to Nick Simone, who comes from Tokyo, Japan. Now, considering how Nick Simone's season was last time out, I'm not sure how she's going to do here, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. Next up is Logan Blake out of Hamburg, Germany, who, fun fact, is pretty good at guitar. Huh, who knew? Alright, this guy seems pretty dangerous. Samuel McShooter McGavin is quite the dirt racer out of some undisclosed place in Texas. He didn't really give out his location on that. And with the backing from Coca-Cola and a little bit from Goodyear, if you can see it back there, he's looking to try and dominate the concrete. Next up, we have a young man here, simply known as Hunter. Yeah, Hunter. That's it. That's the name. Out of Charlotte, North Carolina, driving a pretty much vacant 15 car because, you know, with Colin Cropley switching over to 16, that left the 15 wide open, and Hunter just swooped in and took it. There you go. With support from Coca-Cola. Oh, and also here's his teammate, simply known as Daniel. Yeah, just Daniel. And yeah, both of them have many years of racing experience, particularly around the North Carolina area, you know, basically NASCAR County. So, time to see how they fare in the new season. Or in the number 3 Good Wrench Chevy. And it seems like he's going to have to be pretty quick on his feet because he is a VTuber with very little experience. So he's going to have to be quick to pick things up here. Next up is Tegan Nolan out of Topeka, Kansas. See what he does here. There's not really much on him, but he has quite a bit of racing experience, so, you know, not sure what the accolades are, but hey, he's probably pretty good. Then lastly, we have Chris Staples out of Lake Michigan, who was apparently a janitor for all this. So I guess he managed his funds pretty well, because now here he is in number 7 Napa Chevy. So see how that goes out for him. So now that's pretty much all of the cars full-time in the season, because I just showed you all the full-time drivers for this one. But bear in mind that there are plenty of drivers who ran part-time in season 1. Now a couple of them have moved on to full-time for this season, but the rest of them, well, they're still part-time, and you know, you're still going to see them quite a bit throughout season 2, or at least that's the hope of it. Now, no worries, you guys don't have to wait for long, as season 2 of TASCA Super Series is coming up real soon alongside the COTs. But more on that later, as for now, that is about it.